What if I told you that the man who orchestrated France's World Cup victory was the exact same boy that every single major French academy had rejected? This is the unbelievable story of how the kid France didn't want became the hero France desperately needed. Stick with us, and if you love stories of players who defy all the odds, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell right now, because you are not going to want to miss what we have in store. In the heart of central France, in the peaceful town of Mâcon, a boy was born on March 21st, 1991, who was destined to carry the hopes of a nation. His name was Antoine Griezmann. His story isn't just a French one, though. It's a beautiful mix of European heritage. His father, Alain Griezmann, a city councilman, carried German roots. His mother, Isabel Lopes, was the daughter of a man who lived and breathed football, Amaro Lopes, a former Portuguese player. And it was from this grandfather, from those sun-drenched summer holidays spent in Portugal, that the spark was lit. That spark became a fire, a fierce burning passion for the beautiful game that took over young Antoine's soul. He became obsessed. Every waking hour was consumed by the round ball at his feet. Out in the yard, he wasn't just a kid kicking a ball. He was his idols, reenacting their moves, dreaming their dreams. The Griezmann family wasn't wealthy, but what they had, they poured into their son's ambition. His father, Alain, saw the fire in his son's eyes and vowed to do whatever it took to move heaven and earth, if he had to help Antoine chase that seemingly impossible dream of becoming a professional footballer. But the path forward, the one that seemed so clear in his heart, was far, far rockier than anyone could have ever imagined. Right there in his homeland, the cradle of footballing giants, a place where talent is supposedly spotted and nurtured from the youngest age. Antoine Griezmann faced a wall of rejection. One after another, the doors of France's most prestigious academies slammed shut in his face. The reason was always the same, a cold, clinical verdict that cut him to the core. He's too small. He's too frail. From Lyon to Auxerre to Saint-Étienne to Sochaux, the names were legendary, but the answer was always no. They saw a boy with a modest physique, and they couldn't see past it. They couldn't see the technical genius, the tactical mind that was already light years ahead of his peers. For a child, for any young dreamer, that kind of constant rejection is a soul-crushing weight. The whispers of disappointment and the venom of self-doubt began to creep in. The dream that had burned so brightly now felt like it was flickering about to be extinguished before it ever truly had a chance to ignite. The door to professional football in France wasn't just closed. It felt like it had been bolted, locked, and barricaded forever. Imagine being 14 years old and every single club in your own country has told you you're not good enough. What do? Do you give up? Or do you dig deeper? I have to ask you, what would you have done in that situation? Would you have had the courage to keep fighting? Let me know your honest thoughts down in the comments below. Just when all hope in his homeland seemed to have evaporated, a lifeline appeared from across the border. It was 2005. Griezmann was playing a trial match, ironically, with Paris Saint-Germain's youth team. And in the stands, one man saw what everyone else had missed. His name was Eric Olhatz, a scout for the Spanish club Real Sociedad. Olhatz didn't see a small, frail boy. He saw a flash of lightning. He was utterly captivated by the boy's magical left foot, his incredible footballing brain, and the sheer intelligence that radiated from his every touch, his every movement. Olhatz saw a diamond in the rough, a jewel that just needed the right hands to polish it. He decided to take a massive gamble. He invited Antoine to San Sebastian for a 2-week trial. Just 2 weeks. Those 14 days would change the entire trajectory of Antoine Griezmann's life. The French kid didn't just impress the Real Sociedad coaching staff, he blew them away. They offered him what no French club would have contracted chance of belief. But saying yes meant a challenge of colossal proportions. Moving to a foreign country as a teenager without knowing a single word of Spanish. It was terrifying. He would have to live far from his family under the care of the very scout who discovered him, Eric Olhatz. His life became a grueling routine of discipline and sacrifice. Every single day, he would cross the border back into France to attend school, and every single evening, he would cross back into Spain to train with the academy. It was an exhausting, relentless existence. But Antoine never, ever faltered. He knew deep in his bones that this was his one and only shot to prove every single person who ever rejected him was wrong. At Real Sociedad's famed Zubieta Academy, Griezmann was finally home. He was like a fish returned to water. The technical possession-based football of Spain was the perfect canvas for his artistry. Here he wasn't judged by his height, but by the size of his talent. He soared through the youth ranks. And then, in 2009, the miracle happened. An injury to a first-team player opened a door. The coach Martin Lassart looked to the youth squad and said, "Bring up the French kid." That was all the invitation the little prince needed. He seized his chance with both hands. On September 2nd, 2009, he made his first team debut. 4 days later, his league debut. And on September 27th, he felt the explosion of joy as he scored his first professional goal, a moment seared into his memory forever. He wasn't just a squad player. He quickly became indispensable, a driving force that helped Real Sociedad storm to the Segunda División title and win promotion back to the promised land of La Liga. The childhood dream born in his grandfather's arms had finally come true. Not in the land of his birth, but in the land that had welcomed him with open arms. The following years at Real Sociedad were a symphony of growth. This is where Antoine Griezmann transformed from a promising youngster into a bona fide La Liga star. He wasn't just scoring goals. He was conducting the orchestra, providing assists, and tormenting the league's best defenses with a devastating mix of speed technique and that otherworldly football intelligence. The 2012-2013 season was pure fairy tale stuff. Griezmann was the creative spearhead, the beating heart of a team that shocked Spain by finishing fourth, securing a spot in the UEFA Champions League for the first time in a decade. His single decisive goal against Deportivo La Coruña on the final day of the season was the golden ticket that sent the Basque club to dance with Europe's elite. But perhaps the most poetic, most unforgettable moment in a Real Sociedad shirt came in the Champions League playoff round the very next season. The opponent, Olympique Lyonnais, his hometown club, one of the very teams that had looked at him as a boy and said, "No, you're not big enough." And in that game, Griezmann produced a moment of pure, unadulterated magic, a breathtaking bicycle kick that flew into the back of the net. Scoring a goal like that, a wonder goal against them, it was the most powerful statement imaginable. It was a roar of defiance and a declaration of his own worth that echoed across the continent. The entire football world now knew the name Antoine Griezmann. That goal wasn't just a goal, it was a message. And stories like this of players proving their doubters spectacularly wrong are exactly why we started this channel. If you believe in the magic of football's greatest underdogs and want more tales of legendary players, hit that subscribe button. You're in the right place. His blinding brilliance at Sociedad put him on the radar of every top club in Europe. In the summer of 2014, he made his choice. He joined Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid for a 30 million fee. This was the move that would define him. Under the tutelage of El Cholo, a manager whose philosophy is built on defensive steel and absolute non-negotiable sacrifice from every single player, Griezmann underwent a spectacular metamorphosis. He was no longer just a tricky technical winger. Simeone forged him into something more. He became a complete forward, a relentless goal scorer, and the undisputed focal point of the entire team's attack. But more than that, Simeone turned him into a warrior. Griezmann learned that the first line of defense starts with the number 7. He pressed, he harried, he fought for every ball. His incredible speed, his lethal finishing, and his tactical brain were all weaponized and maximized within Atletico's ferocious system. At the legendary Vicente Calderón, and later at the gleaming Wanda Metropolitano, Griezmann became more than a player. He became a symbol, an idol. He carried them to 2 Champions League finals, and though both ended in the bitterest heartbreak against their crosstown rivals, Real Madrid, he never stopped fighting. He delivered them glory too. In the 2017 to 2018 season, he was the undisputed inspiration behind their UEFA Europa League triumph, scoring a brilliant brace in the final. That was followed by a UEFA Super Cup victory again over Real Madrid. He had become the 5th highest goal scorer in the entire history of Atletico Madrid, a testament to his monumental impact on the club. Parallel to his club heroics, his international career was blossoming into something truly special. After the gut-wrenching pain of losing the Euro 2016 final on home soil, a tournament where he still won the Golden Boot, Griezmann and the French national team returned with a vengeance at the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. At that tournament, Griezmann wasn't the top scorer, but he was something far more important. He was the brain. He was the heart. He was the central nervous system of Les Bleus. He dropped deep into midfield, connecting the defense to the attack, dictating the tempo of the game, and slicing open defenses with his decisive passes. When the pressure was at its absolute peak, he was the one stepping up to take ice-cold penalties. He was the one delivering perfectly weighted free kicks for his teammates to score from. And in the historic final against a magnificent Croatian team, Antoine Griezmann put his signature on the world's biggest stage. He was involved in 3 of France's 4 goals. It was his free kick that led to the opening own goal. It was his nerveless penalty that restored their lead. And it was his clever layoff that initiated the play for Paul Pogba's crucial 3rd goal. When the final whistle blew, the emotion was too much. Griezmann collapsed to the turf, tears of pure, unadulterated joy streaming down his face. The little boy, once cast aside by his own country, now stood on top of the world, hoisting that glorious golden trophy, bringing it back to France after 20 long years. He was named Man of the Match in the final and awarded the bronze ball for the tournament. It was the ultimate validation, the ultimate vindication. From a reject to a world champion, it truly is the stuff of dreams. His journey to that trophy was incredible, but he wasn't the only hero in that legendary French squad. So let me know in the comments, which other 2018 World Cup winner's story should we tell next? After scaling the highest mountain in football, Griezmann's career took a shocking and controversial turn. In the summer of 2019, he announced his decision to leave the club, where he was worshipped, joining FC Barcelona for a staggering $120 million. It was a move that stunned the football world and left the Atletico faithful feeling heartbroken and betrayed. But life at the Camp Nou was not the dream he had envisioned. Griezmann, a player who thrived on being the central figure, found himself struggling to find his place in a team that was, and always would be, built around the singular genius of Lionel Messi. He was often shunted out to the wing, unable to play in his natural position, unable to fully unleash the qualities that made him so special. Despite his immense effort and unwavering professionalism, the joy seemed to seep out of his game. The trademark smiles and the famous celebratory dances became a rare sight, replaced by the weight of an invisible pressure. After 2 largely frustrating seasons, the unthinkable happened. In the summer of 2021, a surprising reunion was announced. Griezmann was going back to Atletico Madrid. It was an emotional homecoming, and not an easy one. He had to face the initial anger and hurt of the fans he had left behind. But through sheer hard work, a humble attitude, and most importantly, his performances on the pitch, he began the slow process of winning back their hearts. He accepted a pay cut. He accepted a new role in the team. He once again became the soul of Diego Simeone's system. The little prince had found his home again. He found the place where he was loved, where he was trusted, and where he was allowed to simply be himself. The smiles returned. The dances after every goal were back. And most importantly, he was playing the beautiful, intelligent, and selfless football that had made him a legend in the first place. Antoine Griezmann's life is a roaring testament to a simple truth: talent is only one part of the equation. It's willpower, perseverance, and a heart that refuses to surrender that are the truly decisive factors. He was never blessed with the ideal physique, nor was he given a favorable start. But what he had was a supreme footballing brain and a spirit that could not be broken. From the boy who was rejected, Griezmann rose to become a world champion, one of the greatest and most intelligent players of his generation. He is a walking symbol of sacrifice, of team spirit, and of a pure, unadulterated love for the game. Whether it was for Real Sociedad, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, or the French national team, he has always left every ounce of himself out on that pitch. His story isn't just about the goals or the trophies. It's a story about overcoming adversity. It's about believing in yourself when it feels like no one else in the world does. And it's about the long, winding journey to find your true happiness, your true home. Antoine Griezmann, the little prince of French football, will forever be remembered not just as a legend of the game, but as an endless source of inspiration for anyone anywhere who dares to dream and is willing to fight to the very end for that dream. And his journey, though it has already seen so many incredible highs and lows, is still being written. And that's where this incredible football story concludes for today. What a journey, right? I'm so eager to hear your thoughts. What moment in his career stood out to you the most? Did his struggle and his ultimate redemption resonate with you? Please share all your opinions, your favorite Griezmann moments, and any questions you have in the comments below. I truly love reading them and building this amazing football community with all of you. Thanks for watching.